everyone. This is going to be a quick introduction into creating your first responsive web design page, and we're going to take a look at how media queries work today. I'm going to be using CodePen.io, which is a free online code editor. If you haven't already set up your CodePen.io account, you can go ahead and just navigate to CodePen.io and you'll be able to create a free account there pretty easily. To get to this page, you just need to log into your CodePen.io account and create a new pen, which will be an option in the top corner. Okay, so CodePen has three windows here to write code in, and we're not going to be using JavaScript, so I'm going to minimize the JavaScript window, and now we'll just have access to HTML and CSS. The next thing that is very important before you get started is to go into the settings and be sure to insert the most common viewport meta tag into your page. So you can do that just by clicking on here, and that will create a tag in the head section of your page. You won't see it in your HTML section because this window is representative of the body of your website. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of code in here. I'm going to put an H1 tag. This is my first responsive design page. Something simple. Feel free to write whatever you want in here. And then I'm going to put in a little paragraph as to what we're doing here. So this page is going to work that as you resize your browser window, notice how the background color changes. So our media queries today are just going to demonstrate how to change the background color. Okay, so that's all we're going to put in our HTML section. And then we're going to go over to our CSS section. Now, when you're doing responsive web pages, you have to decide whether you're going to first start the page with a mobile first strategy, which means that you're going to design the page for the mobile view first, and then as your media queries start applying, they're going to consider the larger size screens and go from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on our CSS. So right now I have my content in the bottom, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a style for my body background color. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I want my background color to be gray. Okay, which will change my background color to gray. No big surprise there. Now with the media query, and with working with a mobile first viewpoint, we're going to go ahead and create some media queries that will change the background color depending on the minimum width of the device screen that the user is viewing this page from. So in order to create a media query, we need to start with the @ symbol and the word media. Let me zoom in on this a little bit so you can read it a little better. So we're going to do @media, and we're going to target the screen, and then we're going to put and minimum width. So this is the minimum width of the screen, and I'm going to start with 360 pixels. So this should target the cell phone, the mobile phone screens. Okay, so for mobile phone screens, I'm going to want this to be a background. Let's go ahead and put a background color of green in here. Okay, so now I have changed this to a minimum width of 360 pixels, which this does have. And if I scroll a little bit shorter than that, I will have the gray background. Okay, so once it gets above 360 pixels in width, it's going to change to the next background color that I have given it. Okay, so if you were on a cell phone, you would see the gray background unless your cell phone had a bigger screen width of 360 pixels. Then it would be green. Now look at the format of this. So this is basically like an if statement. So if the screen has a minimum width of 360 degrees, then go ahead and apply these rules. So we can create as many rules in here as we want. But for the purpose of this example, I'm just using the background color. Now let's go ahead and create one for larger screens. So I'm going to do the same thing, media screen and minimum width. Let's say 600 pixels on this one. And I'm going to do the same exact thing, body, background, color is going to be yellow. Now, as soon as I type that, my background color is going to change to yellow because now I have met the minimum width requirement of 600 pixels in order for that to happen. And as I minimize my browser window, you'll see this is where the 600 pixels comes in at. And if I keep going smaller, cell phone view, that is my gray background. Okay, so far these are considered breakpoints. So where the page design changes, that is a breakpoint of the page. And we've just arbitrarily placed these numbers in here, but ideally what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that your content looks good in all of these different versions of your style sheet. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another one. So let's target screens that are even bigger than this. So we'll do media screen and minimum width. Let's try 960 pixels. Okay, so now we're getting into the tablets, the large tablets, or small laptop view. I'm going to go ahead and put body, background, color equals orange. And so because I'm at above 960 pixels here, my background color has changed. Let's add one more. And in most cases, you don't necessarily need to have like a ridiculous amount of breakpoints. Pretty standard is at least the 3 sizes, so cell phone, tablet, and desktop view. I'm just adding more in for the purpose of demonstration here. So let's go ahead and put a background color of purple for a large. Now you notice I put the background color purple in here, but clearly my browser is currently less than 1280 pixels. So I'm just going to go ahead and expand this off the screen. Oh, and there you see it's right there on the edge. Okay, so there is my purple at 1280 and higher, orange 960 and higher. Then I should hit yellow at 600 pixels, and beyond that at 360 we're going to hit green. So there is my green, and then anything less than 360 will be the standard mobile view. Okay, so again, this is probably going a little extensive, but again, I just wanted to show you how the media queries work. So you can, again, with the purple background, maybe I want to have a color. I'm just going to add this to the body, my text color of white. And then white isn't going to look good on a yellow background. Let's see what that green looks like. I could always change it here. That's pretty bright there. And so basically the idea here is that wait, why is my yellow color? I want to make this different color here. Okay, that doesn't look good either. Then we go back there. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is it's going to apply the standard color and whatever I have up here in the CSS originally, and then if I apply any changes, it will apply that. So it's always going to apply my default style sheet that I have up here. So let's say I want to put like a margin in here of 10%. that margin of 10% will apply, but it will apply, let's start back at the, it'll apply here on the mobile view, and it will continue to apply to all of the others because I haven't modified it. So let's say on the mobile view I want 10% margin, but on my really bigger views maybe I want to have a larger margin of like 20%. And so here we go. Now I can't even see my content because it's so big there. But so here you have a much larger margin that is applied. And then once we get to the smaller sizes, the margin will go back to the default 10%. So it will apply whatever you have up here in what I will call your default CSS. And then once it has done that, then it will apply whatever changes might need to be made in your for your media queries. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and experiment with something like this. You can go ahead and fork my my project, or hopefully you've followed along and created your own, and go ahead and add some content to this and see how you can make the content change just using the box model. You know, maybe you want the font to be different in a different size in your mobile view versus your desktop view. So go ahead and have fun, play around with media queries. Don't be afraid of them. Just make sure to set your viewport in the settings tab. Okay, great. Thank you.